As you get into the world of night vision, at some point you're gonna have to start deciding on how you're gonna build out your helmet. There's a million different ways that you can do this, and there are some things that we learned along the way. And tonight we're gonna be talking about two very different helmets, but also how they overlap and how there's some similarities between the different builds. Tonight we're gonna be talking about how to build out your night vision helmet. Keeping this video extremely simple, tonight Ethan and I are going to be talking about two very different helmet setups, but also in some ways how they overlap and some of the traits that you're going to see consistent with our helmet builds. Now, I'm going to be the first to admit there are many different ways to set up a helmet. I'm not saying that the way that we have them set up are the only way that you guys should consider setting them up. But I do think that there's some value in us showing you guys what has worked for us. And then maybe that's gonna answer some of your questions, because I know that as you get into the world of helmets, it's easy to get on Instagram and see everybody's decked out domes and how they have all kinds of straps and camo and accessories and IR flashers and battery packs, counterweights. It can just be a lot. And I know from my own experience getting into night vision, it's easy to get overwhelmed by sometimes trivial things that ultimately may not mean anything to you in your personal journey. So kicking this right off, I'm gonna go front to back on my helmet, and then Ethan, I want you to go front to back on your helmet. And then at the end of the video, if you guys still have questions about what we did and why we did it, just leave those in the comment section and we'll consider doing those in a future video, or maybe we'll just answer your questions down there in the comments. So starting off, I've got a Team Wendy bump, and I think we bought this helmet somewhere around the 2017, 2018 year. The Team Wendy bump helmet, I decided to go with this because I think Team Wendy has a really high quality helmet. One of the things that we've noticed about Team Wendy right off the get-go is their lockup on their mounts is phenomenal. We just have not had any issues with mounts popping out or any loose fitting mounts. None of that stuff. Team Wendy's been a really good helmet for us. I went with a bump helmet because I didn't personally feel like I needed ballistic protection. I didn't want the extra weight because I knew we were out hunting, driving vehicles. There's many times where I'm spending an entire night with the helmet on my head for an entire night straight. So I wanted a lightweight, breathable helmet that fit really well. Another thing about Team Wendy that I really like is the strap and the lockup setup. Very easy to adjust, very secure. Everything just works really, really well. So when we go front to back, I've got my PD Pros up front. This is a binocular set of night vision. The particular mount that I'm running is a Wilcox G24 mount. Again, just an option on the market. There's various other mounts that we've used, from the Naruto Slow Stow to the Photonis breakaway mount. That's another good one. But that's how I have my particular setup mounted. What you'll notice is I've just got a little lanyard. These are the factory Team Wendy straps. They're not the best. I'm not super thrilled with the lanyard or the little bungee straps that come on Team Wendy helmets. And we do have some products coming down the road that I think you guys will like, that are gonna help out make holding your night vision to your helmet a little bit more seamless. But that's something people overlook. When you spend $11,000 on a set of binos, you don't want it to fall off your head. And these are breakaway mounts, and also sometimes they will fall off if you bump into them. As you're fumbling around in the dark trying to figure out where your button is to flip things around or make adjustments, especially as you just start out, at some point you're gonna bump the wrong button, knock your mount off, and that lanyard or that attachment to your helmet is what's gonna save your butt. So if you're running, gunning, doing that kind of stuff, I definitely recommend something like that. On the side, you'll see I have Peltor Ear Pro. These are mounts that I got from Team Wendy. They adapted to my Peltor Ear Pro. You can do numerous amounts of different Ear Pro with mounts similar to this. There's other Ear Pro mounts that mount on the back. I just opted with these quick mounts on the side. It's just super seamless, super easy. I did update the rails on the side of my helmet to the newest style rails. I liked the fact that I could mount the Ear Pro, but I also had a little bit of a Picatinny rail section up front if I wanted to mount a flashlight,
so
or
technically,
something like
to highlight that briefly, this is the 2.0 rail, and that is a 3.0 rail.
Yep. And again, it's just something I purchased after the fact, just as an update to my particular helmet.
We'll be carrying the 3.0 bump helmets on our site.
Yep.
So
And on the back, I have, this is a V-Light. It's just a little IR flasher. Ethan made a joke earlier that he doesn't even run his anymore.
I don't want you to know where I am. Why would I run that?
So what this does is blinks in infrared and lets people know where I'm at. Now, if you're on the range, on a flat range with a bunch of buddies, and you're all wearing night vision and you're shooting around each other, it's not a bad idea to have something kind of designating where everybody's at. So I do have that. I barely ever use it. Again, the only situation that I will use this in is when I have 3 or 4 buddies, or we're filming with a lot of different people on the range. You'll see in some of the videos, there'll be a blinky little light on the top of my helmet. There's various settings and things like that. I don't think it's necessarily mission critical for a lot of different people, something to consider. On the back, I just have their standard counterweight. I didn't have to put a lot of counterweight on this particular helmet because the PD Pros are so freaking light. So I think I only have 2 of the actual, I don't even know if they're lead or what they are, but
they're lead, they're coated in a polymer, so you're not touching the lead. It's safe to handle.
Anyway, I have 2 of those packs in the back, and that's perfectly fine. Other than that, that is my bump helmet that is designed mostly for running and gunning, flat range stuff. Now, Ethan's helmet is set up very differently, and that's because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're largely using this for hunting.
That's it. That's all I'm using it for.
Now, you could passively aim with his setup. You could do run and gun stuff, drive with it, whatever. But give them a front to back rundown of what you're operating with.
Front to back, I got a PVS 14 over my right eye. Particularly, the right eye for the PVS 14 is so I can passively shoot with any red dot, whether it's on a handgun or whatnot. It just gives me that option. Then on the left eye, I have an MH25 helmet mounted thermal. That is going to enable me to find very small critters in the woods and the thick brush very quickly.
Or boys.
Or
did we just...
The MH25 I'm running, I do have a PVS 14 eyepiece on it. It makes the glass the same size as the PVS 14 itself. That way you have the same distance to your eye, the same size glass. Everything lines up and functions a little bit better with that eyepiece. Heading back through, I'm running a Mod Armory bridge holding the PVS 14 and the MH25. I am running the Neurodos low stow mount. It's push button and direct lockup. Some mounts are push to overcome, some are push button. This one's push button.
Which that force overcome, I think is what they call it, is there's just tension and you pull on it, overcome the tension, it kind of snaps down into place. There's a lot of G11 mounts, I would say.
G11
a lot of
mounts
PVS
are like
14s, things like that. People just have force overcome, just grab it, rip it down. There's pluses and minuses. Maybe if you guys want to see a video on that someday, we can dive into that. Anyway, onward.
No big deal. Again, Team Wendy bump helmet. Again, to highlight the lockup on the Team Wendy bump helmet and why that is, Team Wendy bump helmets specifically have a machined, an aluminum machined insert into the polymer of the helmet. I don't know exactly how they fasten it. That's not super important to me, but all I know is that the Wilcox,
that mount is just secure. I mean, I have it here. I don't know if you guys can even see it. See it, maybe we can see it on the camera.
The biggest thing to highlight is that the Wilcox has a spot there, and on the back of the Wilcox G24 or G11, there's a little rubber spot. Those two interface and creates perfect lockup. No loose slop. They don't pop out. It's just, it's legit. It's tight. It's not sloppy. Anyway, all that to say, moving back through, again, this is the 2.0 rails on the sides. I opted to put a Theorem,
the Variarcs.
The Variarc on the side of my helmet. What that allows me to do, and I don't have it on right now, but at times I will put an infrared light on the side of my helmet. Another favorite for on the side of the helmet would be like the Surefire the 300V.
Yeah, 300V or
the 300V is really nice because you can run infrared or white light. So if you flip the night vision up and you just want to walk around and have a white light that you don't need to hold, you could switch it over to that mode, but that allows you to aim that light. Moving back, right now I'm experimenting with a mini DVR setup to highlight The brand, it is from Predator Precision. That's plugged directly into the MH25. It's the model that is for the Nox 18. And again, I'm experimenting with this now with this setup. Nobody has done this before, to my knowledge, but it is working. I am recording with it. It is not as clear, the recording, as I would have hoped, but it does get the job done. It then also catches audio with this mini DVR. And again, it's not the highest quality audio, but if you want to hear what was happening, that'll get the job done. From the mini DVR, that plugs into the MH25. It then also moves on back. I have this plug. It's not plugged in right now because when it's plugged in, it's powered on. So right now I have it powered off by unplugging it. I'm running a battery pack. It's just an Anker, a dual port. So in case I want to plug anything else in, I can.
He's like our portable phone charger in the wilderness.
Pretty much.
We just keep Ethan close, and you just plug your little USB ports in there. You know, charge up your iPhone anytime Ethan's around.
I just used the factory Team Wendy, I guess, gummy bands that come with it to hold that. I actually have Velcro on the back of the Anker too, so there's Velcro and gummy bands. It's a little overkill. It's not coming off. Basically from there, underneath that, I also have a counterweight because the PVS 14 and MH25 combined is extremely heavy. Not extremely, but I think my helmet...
It's heavy enough that it warrants the extra little bit of weight.
Yeah, it weighs almost exactly 6 pounds, my helmet setup with all this stuff on it.
So yeah. Let me ask you this. So there's the one difference people are going to see right away is you don't have any ear pro on your helmet. Now, again, hunting versus range. Do you see a disadvantage without having ear pro? Is there a time when you're hunting you think it's worth it? What are your thoughts?
When I'm hunting, I'm always hunting suppressed. I never ever go in the woods without a can anymore, and there's many reasons to that, but it just heightens the experience for me. It's safe for my ears. I then can also, when I'm hunting, I want to be able to hear what's going on around me. I want to hear something rustle in the leaves. I want to know what's in front of and behind me, not only with my sight, but with sound. And if I had those earmuffs on, I don't know what's going on, man.
Yep.
It makes me oblivious. So
yep.
I don't even have them on. I only shoot suppressed. So that's why I don't have ear pro. If I do need ear pro, I'll just throw in a set of earplugs and run them.
Is there anything that you think you're going to change on your helmet at this point that maybe you could help give people some clarifications on, or do you think you have your perfect setup for now?
One thing that I've been considering, the bump helmets have, and I know you said you wanted lightweight and breathable. I want lightweight, but ultimately with my bald head in the wintertime,
warm.
I want to keep my head warm. So I'm actually considering getting some type of cover for this helmet to block the holes to keep my head warm without wearing a beanie. Because wearing a beanie underneath the helmet, it's not exactly, it's not fun, it's not great. I've done it when it gets real cold, but yeah, I'll probably add a cover at some point, camouflage something, just to break up the solid black color that this is, but I didn't get there yet.
So guys, that's a rundown of our two very different helmet setups. If there's any questions or anything that you in particular want us to dive into, leave those down in the comments section. If you're in the market for anything that you see on these helmets, we can help get you guys set up. Check out our website. All those links are going to be down in the description. This is a continuation of our video series for Nocturnal November. We hope it was helpful for you guys. Let us know if it was, and please consider sharing the video with a friend. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Guys, we'll catch you in the next one.